It is rather tragic. About 18 coaches of the Mumbai-Howrah mail, that train has derailed in Jharkhand today and 2 people have perished. 20 people are reported to be injured. And after that incident, the Ministry of Railways has announced an ex gratia of 10 lakh rupees to the family of those who've perished and 5 lakh rupees towards grievous injuries and 1 lakh rupees for simple injuries in that derailment. Meanwhile, on its part, the opposition is demanding the resignation of the railway minister. In fact, Mamata Banerjee has even asked when will this procession of death, like she calls it, when will it end, is her question. Let's discuss the implications of this particular derailment and other accidents within the spectrum of Indian railways that have happened in recent times. Kailash Adhikari is Managing Director at Governance Now. He joins us, along with the CEO of Vande Bharat, the former CEO of Vande Bharat project of the Indian Railways. Sudhanshu Mani is with us, and Advocate Kapil Madan. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the discussion this evening. Mr. Mani, the last 6 weeks, we've seen several train derailments. There have been passenger train mishaps. Is it that we are not allocating our capex where it is required most, which seems to be safety? Are we spending more on beautification of our railway stations, adding more premium Vande Bharat trains? What is the reason, according to you, why we are seeing so many accidents?
Well, you see, this government has believed that infrastructure, investment in infrastructure drives growth, irrespective of financial performance of Indian Railways as such. So far, so good. Focus should be more on safety works. Focus should be more on those things which can increase capacity instead of, as you said, beautification. Not that I'm against beautification as such. So this is time now to have more focus towards these safety issues, installation of Kavach, use of AI to generate alerts and things like that. Money is not a problem. As you know, investment in railways has gone up 4-5 times in last 10 years, from 40-50,000 crore to 2.6 lakh crores. So earlier funds would always be a problem and a special fund would be set up and so on. But now there is no issue of funds. Funds are available. In fact, there is a scramble towards the end of the financial year to somehow spend the money allotted. So that's a happy situation. We need more focus to spend this money towards safety works and have a culture of faster, more effective execution of contracts to realize these.
Mr. Mani, talking about the funds that are available for the government for expansion of the railways. Today, the Prime Minister has spoken when he was addressing members of the Confederation of Indian Industry. I want to ask my producers to line up what the Prime Minister has said about capex and the kind of outlays that they envisage, even for the railways, in terms of infrastructure expansion. Can we just listen in to what the Prime Minister has said first?
2004 to 2014 के 10th ईयर में कैपेक्स किसी तरह दुगुने पर पहुंचा था, जबकि हमारी सरकार में कैपेक्स 5 गुना ज्यादा से बढ़ा है। पहले की सरकार के 10 साल की तुलना में हमारी सरकार ने रेलवे का बजट 8 गुना बढ़ाया है, हाईवेज का बजट 8 गुना बढ़ाया है, एग्रीकल्चर का बजट 4 गुना से ज्यादा बढ़ाया है और डिफेंस का बजट 2 गुने से अधिक बढ़ाया है.
Right, so that's what we heard the Prime Minister say. Capex is increasing, Mr. Madan. But the key question is, how is that capital expenditure being used? And that is going to be the key ask of the Aam Aadmi. As he and she pay more and more taxes, how is the government planning the outlay, this kind of capex, especially when it comes to railways? What's your take?
So Vikram, I would echo what Mr. Sudhanshu Mani has said. There should be an extreme laser sharp focus on the safety. We've seen at least in the last 10 years, we've seen at least 400 railway accidents, and that really says the the real state of affairs. Now, the government, yes, the government has started some new train. Vande Bharat is a great initiative, but the fact remains, majority of population in our country does not travel from Vande Bharat. There are, several other hundred of other trains apart from Vande Bharat, which I think, the government is not paying attention to, which it deserves. And what we are witnessing here is a lack of accountability also. If you have so much of money, if the railway infrastructure, you are spending on railway infrastructure, then why the common man is paying price because of these accidents? Every now and then you hear news of train getting derailed, or collusion between the train. So I think the prime focus of the government should be not on the numbers but on the performance. And on the performance point, what I see is that the government has failed miserably.
On this, you think the kind of outlay, the kind of numbers that we are talking about, how those numbers are adding up to safety is the key ask at this point? Mr. Adhikari?
Sorry, yeah, that question was for me, Vikram?
Yes.
So firstly, it is very tragic to see any rail accident for that particular matter. And it is what I was going to say is that, of course, stringent measures should be in place, not only when it comes to the budget, but also at the time at the rail train level, in terms of execution, to see that no such accident, or any such incident takes. Because at the end of the day, it's the passenger's safety. And, it is for the passengers that the railway is working, or any other mode of transport. Firstly. Secondly, Vikram, but having said that, whenever such unfortunate incident happen, naturally, there's an entire task force which looks into the fact that why this happened. And if any finding comes, then naturally care is taken that, in the future, such negligence or any other, for any reason that it has happened, that should not be repeated. Thirdly,
yes.
As said by Honorable Prime Minister, naturally, this government has increased the budget of the railways by 8x, and more emphasis has been given on the safety of railways. And having said that, whenever any budget is prepared, and
but the question, would you say, Mr. Adhikari, the question is a step back, really. Shouldn't safety have been the starting point rather than something that we have to plan for and emphasize in the future? Isn't that a starting point for something as vital as the railways in India?
Absolutely.
So why wasn't it, is the question. Why hasn't it been?
No, who said it hasn't been?
Then we wouldn't have the kind of accidents, Mr. Adhikari.
Safety protocols have been laid down for every other mode of transport, even civil aviation. But tomorrow, God forbid, if something happens, that does not mean that safety protocols have not been laid down by the government. Safety protocols have been definitely laid down. And if any
have been laid down, but do we have a safety culture? A culture of safety is something that needs to come from the top. Mr. Mani, would you agree that we don't have that right now in the railways?
It's not just a question of culture. There is a culture, but the culture needs improvement. Why? Because you have technology available. It's not only a question of counseling and training people. You have AI available. You can use AI extensively, because there, for every accident, there are 100 near misses, let me tell you. Like in Kanchenjunga case, there were more than 100 near misses before the accident happened. It's very difficult to determine all that manually. AI can be used because immense digital data is available in data logger of stations, as well as the microprocessors of the moving trains. That should be done right from the time Balasore accident happened. A lot of actors have been saying that use of AI should be generated so that culture can be built up on actual information of near misses. That is one. And number two, it's a happy situation that funds are available, but the focus that should be there on safety, for example, rollout of Kavach. Although this accident, particular one we are talking, would not have been prevented by Kavach, but there have been others which could have been prevented. Why is the rollout of Kavach so slow when the government has decided that they will go for Kavach and not an imported system? So money is available, but execute to implement these safety works is definitely lacking.
That's the key question. We have technology that's available. We have a covered system. A faster installation is something that we need. What's the reason for the delay? Mr. Adhikari?
Now you're questioning the government with regards to delay. I mean, have we any proof that there has been delay? Yes, we are totally condemning the incident that has happened, but that does not mean that any delay has happened in terms of creating any safety protocol or following that safety protocol. If we talk about a railway budget or for that matter any other budget, naturally safety is the first priority. I mean, for even for Ministry of Civil Aviation, safety is the first priority because it directly touches the life of the people who are traveling by it.
But Mr. Adhikari, there's an
even
allocation.
The government,
I'm sure we can add color. There is an allocation of more than 1,000 crores in the budget. There would be a plan to roll out the Kavach system as far as safety is concerned. If it is at the cornerstone of implementation of infrastructure development in the railways, then this would be at the center of it. We don't have a timeline. We don't know exactly how much is going to go out, and we don't have timelines, do we? And shouldn't there be in that case? Mr. Adhikari.
Of course, there should be timelines. I'm not against the fact that there shouldn't be any timelines. And I'm sure that the government is responsible enough towards its citizens because of the mandate that it has been given, that it will make sure that such timelines are given and that they're completely adhered to.
Mr. Madan, how would you see this? Because the railways, the single largest Indian enterprise, whether you consider public or private enterprises, this is the single largest enterprise India has. It moves people, it moves goods. Both are very crucial for our economy. From even a job creation perspective, from output, GDP perspective, the multiplier effect that the railways has, is the government giving the railways the safety measures it deserves?
So Vikram, I think, the proof of pudding is in the eating. If the government is really working on the safety, if the government is really concerned about the safety, that would reflect in how the railway is performing. That would reflect in, the number of accidents getting, decreased over the period of time. But what is happening these days is that you are seeing number of, accidents one after the other. And the sad part is that there is no one even to take accountability of these accidents. The larger issue which I am trying to address here is that, yes, there could be a human error sometimes which could result in, accident. There could be sometimes an institutional error because of lack of safety measures or, something, that has done, wrong at the institutional level, which may have led to the accident. While I agree, and, there could be different kind of situations, there could be different kind of reasons because of, these accidents occur. But the point is, the first step towards resolving a problem is acknowledging a problem. Now the government stays in denial. You have accident one after the other, and who takes responsibility? Who takes accountability? No one. And therefore you have situation like this.
Accountability. Even Mr. Mani would have a view on this. Mr. Mani, bigger accountability required. In terms of the rollout, we were talking about Kavach, but even our existing signaling systems, we have the absolute, the automatic block systems. Are there failures in these systems that need to be addressed sooner rather than later so that we don't lose any more lives in rail accidents like the one we're talking about tonight? Mr. Mani.
Yeah, I'll agree with Mr. Madan. You see, let's talk of Kanchenjunga accident. So it was a near miss which had been taking place for many days, and then one resulted in accident. So just by punishing them lower level staff, this is not the correct way here. It would be certainly the buck has to stop at somebody higher in the hierarchy. That I agree. It cannot be just lower level staff and you blame it on human error every time. That culture has to be brought in. That's why I keep talking about AI, so that we get meaningful alerts every day. See, it's not a question of just protocol. It's a question of bringing in technology. You decided to bring in Kavach. In last 3 years, not a single kilometer has been added. So is that the speed of execution for something which you have declared to be the future path? That's the question.
Yes.
Definitely execution is lacking.
Right. And in terms of track expansion as well, Mr. Mani, very quickly address that for us as well, because it has to keep pace with the developing economy that we're in. In terms of adding new trains, that's one aspect of it, but the infrastructure to support the additional trains, perhaps that's where there is some kind of delay in a rollout, wouldn't you say?
The capacity building, so you were going for tripling, You're going for quadrupling of track. Even Kavach increases capacity also because the
Right.
signaling then appears in the cab itself. So more focus on these works, which will enhance capacity and safety is required. I'm not against new trains. In fact, Vande Bharat, as you know, was built by me only. But so it is not a question of either or. You keep doing that, but have more focus towards safety as well as capacity building.
So capacity building, safety features, we need to have that within the system. Perhaps it is something that the government needs to concentrate on much more when it comes to capex, is something that is coming out of this discussion. I want to thank Kailash Adhikari, Sudhanshu Mani, and of course Mr. Madan for joining us in this discussion on India Tonight. We will keep pressing the issue.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.